This is the end. So farewell, my ASMR friends. Here at last, from the start of my channel, 23rd of May 2011, comes the end of our ASMR fellowship. What are you doing, Fred? I'm doing my farewell video. And why are you doing that? Well, it's because this video is called This is the End. Oh, no, Fred. Hey? You didn't read the brief properly. Look again. This is the end. Oh, see? So this isn't the end then? No, Fred. No, it is not. Whew. That was a close one. Oh, wait a minute. I've already said this is the end though, so what shall I say now? Read the brief, Fred. Ah, thanks. Of course, I've got it now. Thanks, mysterious floating ASMR essence, who for some reason is located in my studio talking to me. I've got it from here. You're welcome. This is the end of my old computer. I wish someone told me this before I got all dressed up. Firstly, I'd like to say a tremendously massive thank you once again for helping my channel reach the 2 million subscriber milestone. It's incredible when you think about the actual number. I'm completely in awe when I think about it, because naturally I think about how this all started from not being able to sleep back in May 2011 with my new channel and a thought to become the most powerful Jedi ever and making my first video then, to forming and shaping my life and my career, and hopefully it's going to be an even more relaxing one. Don't watch my bloopers. To me, 2 million subscribers is very humbling. It makes me incredibly grateful, and I'd like to personally thank you for watching my ASMR videos. Your involvement has a ripple effect of keeping me creative and motivated, and also makes the 3 AM night time filming worth it every time, contrary to my explosive bloopers, of course. So I hope you know my love for ASMR has never changed, for you guys, for our journey and our community, which has spread across to literally everywhere now, and for our endeavor to create more ASMR videos. I hope through my videos I can help create more relaxed and hopefully happier people, and to have some sort of positive difference when it comes to making you or someone else feel slightly better. That is what makes it all worthwhile for me, but most importantly, for us to sleep better. So this milestone isn't for me, it's for you. So thank you. So I'd like to accept this award. There isn't an award, Fred. You again? Alright, well, I'd like to accept this YouTube plaque. There isn't another YouTube plaque either. Huh? Oh, I see. Well, I gratefully received this congratulatory email from YouTube. You don't get that either. Oh, so nothing changes? Kind of no, it doesn't actually, Fred. Well, do I at least get a couple of days off? Oh, no, you don't get that. I've got it. How about a celebratory 5+ hours sleep at night? Nope, just the same as before, and you're already wasting valuable production time right now. Yeah, you're right. Well, okay then. Do you want to perhaps say anything? What, me? Yes, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Would you look at the time? I must be going. Goodbye. Well, perhaps I should just carry on with my 2 million subscriber ASMR video special. I should probably change my tie. I'd like to welcome you to this part of our video, and this is what I thought we would do for our 2 million ASMR subscriber special. And I thought, well, it needs something that's going to be for the channel. It's part of the channel. It's basically going to hopefully help with the production of my videos on the channel. So it's all very channel related. So I thought this could be nice and long, it could be nice and triggery, it could be lots of sounds in there, and I'm just going to do it so it's like you're with me the whole time. So no doubt problems will arise, and hopefully solutions will then take over. So we're trying to make this a 2 million subscriber special, which is going to be worthy of this occasion. So I've got all my computer parts ready to go, and we're going to go through the whole thing, and hopefully by the end of it, if you're still awake or if you're still watching, then you'll see a beautiful computer which looks magnificent, and it's going to look really nicely lit, it's going to be whisper quiet, and it's going to be a beast for editing, and hopefully make behind the scenes for the editing just so much better, because my gosh, I need it. So yeah, I guess we should begin. Now this build is going to be for my FredsVoice ASMR video production, and hoping that everything which I've got here is going to help alleviate some of the struggle for which I have with endless crashes and computer problems, and I'm looking to upgrade that. Now with every PC upgrade, you've got to research and do your fine tuning, and there's got to be trade-offs with certain things, and I bought a couple of different options and then changed my mind and had to return. But this is what I have settled with. So I'll get through literally everything that I've got here, so you know the name just in case you want. So we're going to try to make this a really relaxing computer build, and before we begin, I just want to emphasize that I know basically nothing, or not that much, about computers whatsoever. We've got to this point where you need to ask yourself the questions: do I need to upgrade? Yes, that was me 3 years ago. Should I have upgraded 3 years ago? Yes, my stress levels would have been a lot less. I think there's always going to be that one irritating thing which just pushes you to upgrade your PC, and then once you do one bit, it's going to be the complete overhaul. For me, it was the fan noise. If at one point you had a nice relaxing quiet fan, eventually at some point it's probably going to turn in, unless you're very lucky, it's going to turn into a turbojet engine, and my current computer, it just will not shut up. It is far too loud. So if you obviously know me and my ASMR productions, that I take care of everything. I do the recording, I do everything behind the scenes, and I do the editing. It's one of the things which I love. I'm very meticulous about my creations, and even though nothing goes as how I want it to, so it's the ongoing struggle, and the computer is a big part of it. So I wanted something that's going to help alleviate the pressure, alleviate the time, pain which I have when it comes to editing and making ASMR videos. And like I said, this is not something which I consider myself an expert in. I put all of my focus and attention and everything else into video production, audio production, and obviously creating the ideas. So this is kind of a rite of pain in my ARSE to do, and when it comes to doing this, I've been putting it off for years, but now I've got to the point with my components in my older PC, which I think that's a 2022, I've got components in there which about 3 years previous to that. So in terms of what you're editing, information you put in there from videos, and then that's having to deal with 4K creation. Now my computer, as standard, my computer and everything else, my GPU, CPU is not enjoying it as much as it was used to when it was just rolling out the HD and occasionally 2K. So I need a workstation basically, or something close to it, which is going to offer me that drastic improvement. I'm recording this at 3 AM in the morning, so this is going to be a long one. So I'm going to list out all of the items which I have here for you to know what I've got here. So we're starting off with the Be Quiet Base Pro 901. This is a beautiful bad boy, and we'll get it open when we start the building process. But this is a lot of open space. It's bigger than I think it's the 801 Be Quiet case, which I have. But the Dart Base, I had my eye on for a while, and the Pro, when that came out, I thought space looks great. I really like the Be Quiet company, so I went for that one. Next is the Asus ProArt Z890 Creator Wi-Fi motherboard. Yeah, and I opted for this through many different variations, which I was going to go for either the ProArt or go for the ROG Gaming Asus. There was just too many options, but there was always a compromise with one, so that's what we got there. The iQOO H170i Elite LCD XT Liquid CPU cooler, which is on the bottom here. Then we've got the Crosshair HXI Series HX1200i High Performance ATX Power Supply, which is here. Hoping that will be enough after I put it in and worked out what wattage everything needs. With a little bit to spare as well, however, it might not be enough. Next is the MP700 Pro NVMe M.2 SSD card down there, and that's 4 terabytes. And then we've got the Dominator Titanium DDR6 800 mega transfers per second, and I've got 4 of those down there as well. So that RAM is hopefully going to add the memory necessary. My computer at the moment goes through infinite stores, and it drives me nuts. Literally drives me nuts. Craziness. But it's a collection of various different components which they're just too old now, and I could have upgraded directly to that computer, but I wanted to use that so I can keep that one running whilst this bad boy will hopefully be rendering, so I can multitask and be time efficient again. That would be really nice. Okay, next we've got the LX120R RGB Corsair fans, and we've got 4 of those there. I was planning on seeing how much more space I've got at the bottom of the case, and if I can place fans in there as well. So I got extra as well. I wanted to get those just in case. I'm more of a just get it, test it, or see if you can do it, and then just have peace of mind, because I cannot wait for any more long deliveries. I just can't. I've got no patience like that. That's something which I do not excel on too well. Then I've got the LX, no, that's the 120 down there, so that's the small ones. And then I've got the LX 140 RGB Corsair fans here. I've got the iQOO Link, though I'm pretty sure that these already come with the iQOO Link. And then I've got iQOO Link extra cables here, like so. I've got the Arctic MX thermal cooler, MX4 thermal cooler compound there. And then finally, but most importantly, and this is probably the most important thing for me, is the, I don't know if you're familiar with the GPU fiasco that's going on with Nvidia and no stock. I know I discussed it or sort of briefly brought it up in a roleplay video as a joke, but the problem is that joke is reality. It's impossible to get one. It's all out of stock. It's incredibly overpriced, and if you enjoy going shopping and scalper shops, then that's obviously not ideal if you're looking for the GPU. However, I had my sights on the 5090 RTX Founders Edition, and it just so happens that to complete this, then I'd like to introduce you to our Nvidia RTX GPU that we have here. This is the paper launch edition, and I'm really think that's gonna just set this computer apart and just give me everything that I need, apart from perhaps burning cables. So apart from its really sleek design, I mean, you can tell from this how sleek it is. It's really great. But this is the one I managed to get hold of, and I'm really looking forward to installing it into my computer and seeing how hot those cables get, and if it really does burn all your cables, and that's your computer as well. That's one of the beauty of the current gen of GPUs from NVIDIA, is that it's you get an element of fun through the risk and excitement, not knowing if it's going to completely ruin your expensive PC build. So that's great. But all seriousness, I was aiming for the 5090, however, it just doesn't seem like it's quite there in reliability at the moment, and my sights have been set on the 4090, which nearly got the other day, but it was still £500 overpriced, and I can't do that when I know however much I need it, and I know that it's overpriced, and some shop has just thinks they can, scalping time. That for me is just a big no, and no matter how bad that I needed that component for my PC, that is not what I'm going for. So I think the 3090 is what I've got in my current PC. When the 4090 came out, I didn't upgrade to it. I didn't pay too much attention to it. It's only when the 5090 came out, which was when I started thinking, right, I'm going to start getting stuff for my new computer. That's when I was there with 100 pages open, ready to hopefully get a chance to get one. And no, and a big no, crashes everywhere, and it was not happening. So that sort of halted that a little bit. However, I still could transfer my 3090 RTX GPU into this computer. Mainly my other computer is still running. It's just my workload on there won't be functioning. Obviously, I have to then set up here. I'm going for a complete new computer here, so it's all fresh, new programs. It will just be a fresh, clean start and clear my head. That will be quite nice. When are you gonna buy the graphics card, Norman? Who's there? Who said that? What's stopping you from building this computer, Norman? Someone at the door? Gosh, what am I gonna do? I can't build this computer without a GPU. Look at you, struggling to get every computer component you want. Who are you? What did you do? What you can't. A 5090 NVIDIA's graphics card. Magnificent, isn't it? And now adding on to the computer parts list, the Asus TFU Gaming GeForce RTX 5090 graphics card. I finally managed to get hold of one in a semi-reasonable, kind of not so much scalping price. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to get this computer up and running, and I wanted to do this for my 2 million subscriber celebratory ASMR video, so I bit the bullet. I wanted this done. It's going straight back into making my life easier for creating for you. So it's now going to be a part of my computer, finally. Thank you. And let's just hope that I don't have the cable burning version. And we have another addition to the collection here, the IQ Link H170i RGB. This is the newer version of the fan, which I replaced, and this is completely out of stock everywhere, cannot get it anywhere. So I had to finally go for a second-hand version with apparently minor damage to the packaging when I bought it on Amazon. However, that's an understatement of the century, shall we say. So most likely it's not going to be performing as it should. Most probably I got the version which was launched at a letterbox or something along those lines for it to look as it does, but if it doesn't work, then I will replace that when the new stock comes in, which I think is in a couple of days. Add to the parts list, I wanted to change the LCD screen to something which I can see my CPU temperature, so I got the Corsair LCD screen, and this is the AIO module, so it should be simply a kind of click out and click in the screen, just to keep it all nice and informative when my computer's running, and it looks pretty good too. And this is what we call a great component for your PC. It has a nice grip there and a pin pull motion there, which I've literally just taken out there. So place that back in. One of the beauty of this fire extinguisher is the nice pressure gauge here, which I'm able to check, and it's still in the green. So that would be nice and handy, and for when the PC inevitably doesn't work or sets itself alight or whatever surprise it wishes to bestow upon us at the end. But jokes all aside now, I've enjoyed a lot of PC builds that people do where it's no talking, it's just silence, and I find it very therapeutic. And the more I've looked into components and things, I've really paid attention to what I specifically want and long term. Less branding on things is also a welcome addition. I don't really like branding on a computer, and the same my clothes, I just like it as plain as possible. I was tempted with a matte black interior, just it's kind of a Darth Vader-y Batman vibes there, but I caved in for RGB just for the sake of hopefully creating a warm temperature. But even the RGB lights on my Vengeance RAM cards, they're just not true to the color which IQ said. So hopefully the new Dominator DDR5s will prove to be an improvement on that. But I'm very much looking forward to the clicky sounds, the satisfying cable connections and moving around. And my favourite bit, I think, is the fan placement, screwing in the fan, getting the cages in for it, and configuring the fans and where they need to go. One of the things which I love about these fans is that you can put them in, and you put them in the right way, and you can change which direction they want to go in, so you're not going to have a backward fan, which you get with a lot of the older fans. So that's a welcome addition for this, and hopefully it's going to look really smart. So let's get rid of this, bring out the beast case, and start our ASMR computer build, for which I hope you fall asleep to and get tingles and good ASMR triggers. So because this one is the big boy, we're going to do this so it's fully on the table before we get zoomed in and go through each individual bit and get to put it all together in hopefully a nice relaxing way. So like I said, opted for this one. It's the biggest in their range until recently. Be Quiet just really, or near enough, released a new case design, which is like a lay down flat version or more square based with RGB lighting around it. I liked that sort of, it was kind of futuristic, but there's something, the geometry of the 801, it was very satisfying, and it's carried through to the 901 Pro as well. So this is the Be Quiet dark base. It's not the silent case, which is probably what an ASMR artist needs. But of course, with the other ones and the silent base, you're going to compromise on size. I wanted something because I knew whatever GPU which I'd get, it's going to be or take up most of the space, and I wanted plenty of fan room in there and airflow and room for all components to breathe and hopefully be a little bit cooler. But this, I think the Be Quiet cases, if it wasn't for the loud fans which I have in my turbojet PC, then the cases are really good. They're built really well, and you've got a lot of options with it as well. Well, I did with my other one, and this, I knew I'd get this for the upgrade. So this is the 901, and this is Pro, and this one comes with a really nice protective cover to it. Of course, it's all in the box, but the box just looks like a brown box. So this is a nice touch, I thought. Okay, as you could probably tell already, it's pretty ginormous. Ta-da! So with my current PC case, I've had it and taken it apart a little bit. The screws which I have in there would be 4 screws on there, and there, and they've loosened up and the threads aren't as strong as they used to be. So this one, which I think when it came to an upgrade, it was just more intuitive, like it slides off. You have a real nice seal when it is connected to the case, so even the tiniest of gaps in these things will just bleed through sound. There are pads underneath here, or dampeners, so you will get a reduction in sound there, and I just generally find that these cases work nicely for what I need them to. At the top you've got grills, which are literally just magnetically attached. And then on the front, see what I mean about the geometry of it. It's just, for me, it's satisfying. I think we're in the age of the turning point where the PC case can literally be anything you want it to be. And that means that you can have curves, it can be flat on the ground, I've seen it built in desks which look really futuristic and a bit Star Warsy as well, which I kind of like. But yet this still is what I was hoping that I'd want. It's got functions like a wireless phone charger on top, which would be useful. At the front, USB ports. It has the Thunderbolt port, not Thunderbolt, it has the USB-C at the front there as well. Touch buttons for the fan operating control. However, this comes with the Be Quiet silent fans as well, so that is automatically attached to this here already, so I'm not sure if there's a way to sync that in with the IQ link, but I doubt it, so that's probably rendered useless already. But apart from that, it looks really good and it's really easy to take apart and pop all the fans in. So on the back, I'll just show you, because it's a larger case, then there's another vent on the back. There's ample space, and I'll be able to change that, and that's why I want to put fans in there as well. So my fan configuration, which I'm thinking at the moment, is to have 3 120 fans in there. On the front, to have 3 140 fans in there. Then of course at the top we've got a 3-fan CPU. Cool liquid cooler fans up the top, and then on the back have 1 right there, and then at the top or at the back to have 140 fans, so that will be the exhaust and drawing it all out as well. So I plan to have, through my airflow design, pulling air in here, pulling air in on the back here. So these front 2 places are going to be where the air is pulled in. If I had space, considering underneath air intake was a possibility, so it sort of comes in and maybe up that way, and then extraction would be up the top here, and obviously around the back for the exhaust here also. So what I'll thing, the motherboard piece that holds it all together. So I decided to go for the Z890 Creator Wi-Fi. I had my eye on the Pro Art for a while, but this Wi-Fi was Wi-Fi 7, whereas the previous Wi-Fis were Wi-Fi 6, and if I can get any extra handicap, any advantage with the Wi-Fi for uploading, that's always a bonus for me, because obviously that's my main work components there. But this has all the features which I kind of needed. Right, I know there's a specific way to take this out around the edge, I think. Yeah, no, you're not really meant to hold it like a pancake first. Steady as she goes there, Fred. And this is what I thought would be the sort of the high end for video editing, because, like I said, with the Wi-Fi I needed that, but with the editing I needed something which was going to provide the bulk and some good speeds for various tasks which I will be doing. So that's why I opted for this one. This has their new CPU, which is the 285 from Intel, but that's basically what I would consider the upgrade from the 14900, but it's kind of had a rebrand thing. So I did buy the 14900K, and that's the Raptor Lake. However, that was for a different board, which that was for the gaming board, which was the 790. But then I had my eye on the 8090, so, well, the Z8090 series, which basically Asus has just released, and that's why I've gone for the needs the Arrow Lake, basically. I haven't seen too many reviews where the CPU has actually, that I've got, has performed very well. Only one, but that was the only one that's compatible with this board. Unfortunately, had the acceptance of a faster RAM and also the space for graphics cards. Initially, I was thinking I might be able to get away with 2 graphics cards, but that's a big no-no, I think, for this board, and fan noise and overheating would be a major issue. So I'm holding out for the 5090. The CPU which I went for was their new version, so this is the, well, pretty recent, this is the 285, and this is basically the upgrade to the 1490, like I said, but I haven't really seen that many reviews where it's performed that well. However, I think I saw one, but that one review was sort of boasting that there's been no lag for all the same programs and software which I also use, and that is a major contender for me because I've had too much lag with my current one. I mean, anything that I upgrade to at the moment is better than what I've got. My current CPU on my current computer, that is old CPU where 4K, it probably didn't think that I'll be doing just standard 4K 60 frames per second video and editing, videoing and editing as a standard, so it probably didn't really quite prepare itself for that. It gets through it, but at the speed for which I'm not able to work with anymore. So I need a quick operation, and I think the 285 might, well, anything is going to be better than what I've got at the moment already, so I'm going to see how that goes on. If it doesn't work with this board, then I'll be going perhaps for the 1500, 5900, and changing the board completely and going for probably a ROG gaming motherboard, because that was my second option, but the Pro Art for me right now probably seemed like the right idea. So let's get this thing open. this out first. I need my editing life to become easier. I need less stalls. I need a more relaxed, happier Fred. Okay. I do kind of like the packaging for these. These are really nice. Right, you're in there. There we go. I mean, I have been tempted with thread rippers and going just full blown, which probably would help me quite a lot, but I thought I'd see how we get on with this one first and see if it would be the natural upgrade. Okay. I know you shouldn't move around. There we go. And it is done. There is our CPU installed. I feel like Frodo Baggins right now. It's done. Okay, so next up we're gonna install the RAM. So this is the titanium dominator DDR5. I think DDR6 is just around the corner, if not already just about available. So this is going to be better than I think it's DDR3, which I currently use, and that's 128 gigabytes. So I'm hoping there's going to be an improvement with this one anyway. Okay. They do look pretty nice packaged. These are RGB as well, and I'm hoping the LED lights are going to be a slight improvement than the current ones which I've got. But these are on the slightly expensive side, but they look really good. And the packaging is pretty awesome as well. So. What's there, Fred? Okay, how are we gonna do this? There we go. That is satisfying. Let's place you in there. Finally, our other ones. So I've got 4 cards here. Going to fill up those slots. There were boards, or the earlier boards, where they had, I think it was either, I've seen some with 4 on each side, which would also be quite useful, shall we say, especially for RAM. Always think you can't have enough RAM. I've always had overkill RAM cards on all of my PCs. It's just one of those things where it's peace of mind. But what I'll have to do with this board, because there are limitations for the motherboard, so I have to make sure that this will accept the extra speeds. So I assume that would be a little extra overclock in there. Looks good to me. I can't actually see over this at the moment, so I assume it's okay. There we go. So we've got our 4 cards cards installed here. Got the 48 cards, yeah. So these, 4 of those are the 192 for RAM. So that's pretty good. And then these bits here light up, which will be quite nice there as well. So next up, this is going to be on my C drive, just so it runs fast. But the problem is I do a lot of, obviously computing where I do videos. Then I have a lot of file transfers, and one heck of a lot. I get through about 4 terabytes within a month, and probably not even that. It just flows through very quickly, so there's always quick offloading. And for an SSD card, the M.2 NVMe, there's going to be a shorter lifespan on this, perhaps than the current ones that I've got. However, just so you have a quick and easy C drive, I think that's what I'm going to install initially, and then eventually I'm going to move over the other drives, and there's plenty of space for it. For example, just open that so you can see this. Under here, there's plenty of space for extra cards there with heat sinks here, which is pretty awesome as well, built in. So that's something which I will do. But for now, I'm just going to install the one. So that's going to be on this, and that's pretty nice. Okay. And this is what I went for. That's what we've got. I mean, I don't know why it would be upside down like that, but it is. Okay, a little bit of pressure, pop you on there, and hopefully, I'm just going to check that again. That's fully secure in there, okay. Heatsink on there, which will be very beneficial. So we've got CPU, we've got our RAM cards in, we've got our SSD in there as well. See, and it's so easy, but this is what I mean about the noise dampening. So there is obviously sound taken into consideration. I certainly haven't got this extra layer of what looks to be a sound absorbing material on my older PC, so this is a nice touch. And I think the grill for the fan air intake is a welcome addition for this PC and 4K editing. So this is one of the things which came with it. So this was already plugged in already, but I took it out just because so it was pretty much ready in an empty case. But these are the silent fans that Be Quiet do, and I used them on my original build before I decided to go RGB in it. But these are really nice, smooth fans, and I just like the matte black as well. I find it very satisfying. However, you can't, they're not omnidirectional basically, so for taking in air you'd have it facing that way, so you have the grill on the back, which I'm not a massive fan of. But these literally plug in at the top of the PC, back over there, and that's where you have the touch control for the fans for that one. So took these out, and this was the cage for the 120 fan. So this is going to go on the back there. So in order to not make a complete mess of everything, you do have bags which are included, and I think it has actually official bags from Be Quiet. So yeah, so this I assume is for parts or things, but we're not going to know what's in that. So I always keep these plastic bags for screws and for situations and for scenarios just like this, because they are always handy for these sorts of projects, so that we will put them in the bags and name everything that we need to as we go along. But first we're going to be taking this out so we can add in our new fans. Voila, screwdriver. That is better. And then I'll just place these on the top here so I definitely don't lose them. Move you over. I'm going to be taking you out. We're not going to be needing you, are we? No, we're not. I'm going to cover up this side. I need to line all of these up in there. Perfect. Simple as that. I think this is probably because it's like giant Meccano, so easy, easy. Making sure that's all going to be nice and tight. Thank you, magnetic screw. And in the bottom you go. I'm a bit paranoid when it comes to doing screws with the computer, purely because it's the rattle, the dreaded rattle that might come later on, which I've had occasionally in my old computer. So everything's done tight, everything should be fine. So I took these fans out of the box already, purely because I just can't stand that yellow. Yeah, I don't know why, it just doesn't look good. Doesn't sit right with me. So I'm going to be, what you'd normally do is probably put the fans around that way, so this would be facing that way for the air intake here. Obviously it says at the top there, but because you can change direction, then they will be going on like thus, and you'll be getting a nice RGB looking fan rim around here, which would be pretty good. These are really easy as well. It's literally, you get all the connecting parts up here, and a case of snapping them together like that, and on the bottom, and they're magnetic as well, so even better. Just make sure you can line it up, Fred, and not break it. Yeah, very nice indeed. So there's going to be a slight configurating to do here to make sure the air is where I want it to be, purely because I want it to go slightly underneath things here as well. But for now, I'm going to turn that around and we're going to screw that in there. On here are all the screws for it as well. Just call me Mr. Organised here. Right, the thread on that, I've managed to break that already. Not good. But even with just those fans in, progress has been made and it looks great. This is going to hopefully reduce that temperature ever so slightly, and sometimes with my other PC I've unfortunately, when Nvidia plays up and it hasn't done an update or it's messing around, because there's an update, it won't engage, it won't work properly. So my computer has, on occasion, hit above the 80 mark, and at one point it went to 91, which if you reach those temperatures, then you're going to run into issues. So I had to take my computer apart and just have a look to check, and that wasn't ideal. And I don't remember that really being a hot summery day where I've had this studio sound treated. That means that it tends to hold in the cool a little bit more than my previous studio. So there was no need for this or that computer to get as hot as it did, but it did. So these fans, I think that was when IQ decided it didn't really want to work, because that's another issue that I have with the IQ software. It's something, when there's a Windows update, it is not compatible with something, and it just will not recognize. You will just lose all of your Corsair parts, and it will not sync with anything. So you have to go and find intricate ways to relocate said items which were previously controlled in the so-called easy control of IQ. So they're all in, looking good. So originally the wiring, you could see it was connected up here for the fans. I don't know if you can see that, but it was for the Be Quiet fans. So I'm just gonna follow the same line basically. Well, obviously it's gonna go there, but this is going to slot in there. And the one thing that I kind of liked with these fans is that it has the line along the side here, and to me that's almost Death Star paneling. So if I could make that very wide looking, then that'd be pretty cool for me. Right, you go in the hole there. One of my options for this as well was considering two of the older GPUs, but then I thought with those fans going like crazy, then literally the easiest and for me the most satisfying thing doing the fans. I don't know what it is, but installing computer fans is probably the most satisfying thing for me. It just goes where it's meant to go, and they look pretty good. these up incredibly tight to begin with, nor do I do them incredibly tight to finish with, but just do them a bit tighter now that they're all in. And I'm happy with that placement as well. My thought process here is that if these fans go up a little bit taller here and bridge the gap here, then when you come down to the bottom here, you're not going to get air blowing through down to the power at the back of the computer. So I want airflow to be going underneath as well. This is what I'm considering, if I can, to put fans at the bottom also. I'm very consciously aware of airflow with this PC purely because of the workload that I'm going to be chucking at it, and I want this to be optimal basically. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Looks pretty neat. The only thing with these fans, as I said at the start, when I purchased the Corsair fans, I had them listed out on my site, on the Corsair site. It was all in my basket, had tons of variations. Of course, every single one was not in stock. And then one day it said something came back in stock. I literally clicked it as fast as possible, assuming I got the right fans. However, I didn't. These are not the reversible ones, the 140, which kind of sucks. The 120mm side fans, they're reversible, so they're inward facing and they look great on the inside. Problem is, I'm not really going to see the fans on the inside anyway, so I think they look fine here if I was to use, this is the filter, but the grill here. So these are all pretty straightforward to wire, and I've literally connected this all up to the 120, so it's a bit of a daisy chain at the moment, and because of that, I think the easiest solution and the most visually pleasing solution would be to go for the mesh front of the PC case there, and see how we get on. Then I could always change it. If it's an issue, then I will replace these when they're actually in stock, these 140 Corsair fans, and then I can turn them around, have them inward facing, reverse the fans on software, and then have this one at the front. Like I said, it's only when I'm filming ASMR videos and I need a quiet computer, this is a thing which then comes in handy. Not so much visuals for a PC. I'd rather just put a box over this and not see it at all. I just want a functioning PC for things like that. But I think for now, visually, that looks pretty great, and we'll keep it as that. So we'll just put the filter on there, which I'll probably never clean. I think I cleaned my PC filter twice on my other PC, which had 3 or 4 years. Just before we put it in. That wasn't as relaxing as I thought it would be. And you too, please. But you sounded very nice. Thank you. Just place that there. And then very, very carefully take a motherboard and align it with the screws where it needs to go. And obviously I have laid down my PC for this part, so it's a bit easier. Just call me Mr. Meticulous, but I want to make sure that we are perfectly aligned here, which we are. Now we can screw it all down in place. So obviously I'm not doing it up too tight. Just want it enough. That doesn't need more. Okay, so we don't need one there, got one there, got one there. Then drop the bag. And then I label it so I know which screws are what. The sorry state of this, I mean, look at that. I'm not expecting anything good here whatsoever. The question is, do I really want something second-hand in my PC when you don't know if the components have been looked after or if there's an existing problem with it as well? Still. I mean, one of the very important things is that it smells brand new still, which is good. So I want to make sure that there's no damage on the grill radiator. I don't see anything wrong with that, which is a good sign. And that's looking good to me. So it needs to take off the fan so we can, well, maybe we don't actually. No, we don't. I think we just screw that in on the top. Marvellous. And that's what we've got there. Even though that still looks good, we're going to change it over with our LCD screen. That looks good. And a simple screw-in function. And voila, you've got your LCD screen. That is looking very nice to me. Right, let's get this all connected up. So you can see where all the dust has accumulated because I've had this PC sitting around probably for about 2+ months waiting for parts. So it's been a long old one. Or I could just use a screwdriver. Would be easier. That doesn't impress me at all. So if you got to this point in the video, you're probably going to think, Fred, what's happened to the installation of the GPU? What's happened to the wiring of the rest of the components into the motherboard? What's happened to the installation of the liquid cooler? Well, thanks to our dear friend, the liquid cooler, that things started to get a little bit complicated. And I have that thing where when I need to focus and concentrate, I can't do that as well as doing the filming, because this filming has gone on for however many months now, and I'm keep having to set up for my actual scheduled filming, and then going in between, and it's just a complete nightmare trying to concentrate and actually not make a mistake on my computer. So the way I operate is I concentrate the best when I'm listening to soundtrack music. I wanted to make sure that this PC is going to be perfect and working just as it should be and how I want it. So every part needs to be put in the right place without 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 a.m. filming mistakes when I'm tired. So I've enjoyed some daytime building of the rest of the computer, basically just finishing it off, and putting in cables isn't exactly a fun job anyway, filled with tons of sound. So I took the liberty to complete this computer build, and what you see before you right now is our new computer in its entirety, hopefully looking awesome, and then we can get on to switching it on and enjoying it, I hope. So we're going to do a little reveal, and then I'll talk you through everything which I've done and everything which I plan to do with the computer as well. So to get to this point has been the biggest headache ever, trying to get this thing all sorted whilst trying to film it as well. Memory cards filling up, lighting problems, audio problems. I've gone through 4 microphones during this filming time. It's just, behind the scenes things, sometimes it can get just a bit crazy, and this certainly made for one of those because of the time it's taken to do it. So concentration, Fred, needed to happen with some Star Wars music, some Lord of the Rings, Howard Shore music, and then I just plowed through it and I get in the zone easy peasy then. So what I've built here, I hope, is going to be something which you think looks pretty cool. I think I'm pretty happy with where it is. So why don't we do a little bit of a reveal. Obviously, the case, the side panel, transparent glass is not on it, so probably what I'm rubbing at the moment is nearly going to be the GPU, but nothing as of yet. So we don't get any reflections of everything because it's basically a mirror once you've got that on. So if you're ready, drum roll. It's an ASMR drum roll. Keep it up. So I'd like to introduce you to the new FredsVoice computer. And I hope you like it. I think it looks pretty goddamn awesome, and I'm very, very happy with how it finally turned out. You have a vision when it comes to building your computer of what you want, what you think it's going to look like, and then how it actually performs. So this is what I want, this is what I thought it was going to look like, and then we've got one more hurdle after this. But as you can see, it's all just looking as fresh and cool and a bit like a beast, which is exactly what I wanted it. of just a natural evolution of my current PC one, and I'm really, really nervous to turn this on. Obviously, I've still got to fiddle around in BIOS settings, install Windows as well. Don't know if I'm going Home or Pro on that one yet. I'm not sure whichever is going to be best for RAM cards rendering and high performance and things of that nature. But hopefully, and also as well, this I'm not entirely sure that will show anything. I think that has to be done in iQOO, which obviously means downloading iQOO, the Corsair iQOO software, and actually getting that to work. So that probably won't work either. But everything else, RGB lights should be turned on, and the fan should be going around at a nice speed, considering that this is going to be open, so we're going to hear a little bit of noise when we turn it on. There will be obviously a closed case in there, and then we can get an idea of how quiet, hopefully, how quiet this PC is going to be. I just hope the most that this is going to be a silent or near silent PC, and I hope that when we turn it on in a minute that we can continue recording with the fans going, and that's how quiet it will be without any sort of intrusive turbojet engine fans. That would be very nice. So I've got my pointy stick here. I'll just talk you through some of the things which actually did when I was doing this PC. So I think the major problem which just got me to the point where I needed to concentrate was our liquid cooler up here. So there was an issue with this liquid cooler here, and I think it's just a general issue with the PC itself. So if I lower this down, on the top here there is a wireless charging area for your phone. That is a pretty great feature. However, it has a big shining drawback to the installation of your liquid cooler, being that there is a bit of a bulky area up the top here. So when it comes to actually slotting in your liquid cooler, and this one in particular, it's not near impossible. There's no way around it. Every alteration, you just can't do it without it leaning too much on one side, and it started to look ridiculous. But eventually it did go in. The thing is here with this particular liquid cooler, the original one which I got at the start of the video, which I'm putting in my old computer now, that one didn't have the same bulky ports as the liquid cooler for the original one which I bought at the start of this video, which I put in my old computer. So there's another bulky section here which makes it impossible to put this side. So with different configurations it would go in this way. However, when it was in, this side lagged down about 2 centimeters more than this side. It was just seriously wonky. It looked terrible. It was bugging me when I was looking at it, and I just thought, I can't sit there and edit and know that slope is there looking at me, so something had to be done. So I took it out again, I tried different variations, took it all apart basically, changed the grill. The grill is not big enough because of this wireless charger at the top of the grill that this sits in. It doesn't align over either side of the liquid cooler, so the curved bits actually are curved on top of the cooler, so it's because it's not big enough. So what I ended up having to do was I took off, I think I had a couple of washers to pull that down anyway, so I had 2 washers on there, and I basically got a load of tiny washers for the screws here, and I think I stacked up 4 or 5 on each screw on this side, so it would then compensate for the lag and the droopiness on this side here as well. So basically that's half a centimeter difference now from the 2 centimeters, so it's not really noticeable. Apart from now, I've said it, and then it's going to be very noticeable, but hopefully not, and hopefully that's a good solution there. I changed it around, switched it around again. I couldn't make my mind up. Originally, I had the liquid cooler pipes here coming across the computer like it does on my current computer. Problem is with that, I want to see the titanium, not white, RAM cards there, and I wanted to see the RGB in that, and I don't want anything blocking it. Also with the CPU cooler LCD screen there, I want to see that information. I don't want anything in the way, so I could move it around, fiddle around with it. Still not happy with it. That's not the final location that's going to be in, but it's going to be in this side at the very least. So that will probably need a little bit more tweaking and attention there. GPU. When I put in the GPU, I noticed instantly there was a big sagging problem. Now this is way bigger than my 3090 RTX, and over time that's gradually had a little bit of the sag, and more so since I've been paying attention to it, but this was just instantly, and that would only get worse. So I purchased this bracket here, which is really easy to install as well, and then this basically just screws in there, and then goes into a RGB header underneath on the motherboard there as well, and this is RGB as well, so I think it looks kind of cool. Minimal logos at the front there. When I originally bought it, it had it in writing. I thought that's going to suck, I'll paint over it, but turned up without it, so I think that's an upgrade, and I think that should be a necessity, or something which is included when you buy an expensive GPU. When you buy these really, really expensive GPUs, like, one of the main things is that you need to look after all of the GPU, the parts that it's plugging into, the sockets. You don't want anything bending, lagging, or anything along those lines. It needs to be perfect and looked after. So a bracket, what, £15 for this, £14-15. Why can't that be included as well? It's almost like your problem sort of mentality, which I hate so much, but I think that was a really cool thing to have in there anyway. And then once it's in, just adjust up the top there and gently and slowly lift it back into position, which should be fully aligned. So got the tape measure out and made sure that that was perfectly aligned with each other, which it is now. So hopefully that bracket holds. I have no reason to believe that it should change or anything like that once it's on my desk and more on a permanent setup there. Also, if you'd like to draw your attention to this area here, now I know that I've committed the cardinal sin here in the PC world, is that it is frowned upon when you have a lot of empty space in your PC case. Problem is, I seem to have purchased, oh my god, a skyscraper PC, so I sure as hell don't really want to be filling that up. And my thinking behind that was that it's going to offer, I thought the GPU would come out about there anyway, but it will offer more aeration of everything, and the air intake, there's plenty of space for it to come in here and then be shoved underneath around the GPU, and then obviously it's all going to be sucked back up and out of the back vent here also. So that area, to me, it doesn't actually bother me. I think that's a really nice space for air to be drawn in, and knowing that your computer is going to be kept as cool as possible. And plus, I think that configuration there with the 120 fans, which these ones actually reverse, they look pretty great. These are in obviously the normal way, but I would have preferred them facing the other way, and to then reverse them as well. So that means I could have put on the front the other grill, but when it comes to turning on the PC, you know, this at the front is going to look so good, and I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll just do a little twirly here, because it looks really good in the light, and that's without any RGB on there also. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how it looks and how it all fits in. I think it looks great. Are you going to show us the wiring at the back of the computer? No one wants to see what the back of the computer looks like. I think that we all want to see the wiring at the back of the computer. That's the fun bit. Nobody wants to see wires. The thing is, with a computer, it's going to look great from the front, but no one wants to actually see the back. I think we want to see the wiring. Show us, show us, show us. I get it. Show us. Thank you. I'll show you the wiring at the back of the computer. So the beauty of this thing is it's literally just 2 screws which are attached here and here. And whereas you'd probably have to normally take the other screws out, you don't get to lose them this time around. No one really wants to see the back of the PC, so you don't really have to see it if you don't want to. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's sort of semi-managed, shall we say. It becomes just a cable nightmare, and I'm constantly looking at my instruction manuals and various instruction manuals to know what is connected to where, and I triple make sure. So that recording part is a big no-go for me because I need to concentrate like absolutely fully to that. I really like this mesh on the back here for the extra fans. That's what I've always admired when I was putting together this computer and saw other people's computers. I really like that look, so I've basically got what I wanted. It smartens it up because once you've got your PC, you spend all your money trying to do it. You make it how you want it, so you want it to look as you expect it, and there's always going to be, for me anyway, there's always going to be hurdles and something that gets in the way, something that's not going to fit right. I bought extra things like the extra cables which I purchased. I didn't end up using the extra IQ link, didn't end up using the cooling paste, didn't use as well because it was already on there, which is pretty good. So it was just trying to preempt these things, but this I thought was just going to be so easy, and it turned out to be the hardest thing trying to get that in, but everything else is pretty straightforward, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting this all up and running and doing some tweaking at this point in. So trying to make an ASMR video out of this can be a little bit of a challenge in itself, but I think that we finally got there. So that means it's time to do the big thing, and for our 2 million subscriber special. So it is time for the Baggins. I mean, look at the size of that lead. Absolutely useless. What's that? 1.5 meters. It's no way 2 meters. That's ridiculous. What are you going to do with that? Nothing. Okay. So, in you go. Just get one more thing. So, I think we are in a can-do-go situation. So just like a little check with the computer. Are you feeling ready? Check. Good. Am I ready? No, I am not. Okay. Button at the front. Right here. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Gosh, come on. Sorry, I had to do it. I'm only joking. I thought those liquid cooler fans weren't going to happen. Oh my word. It's beautiful. I'm getting a serious amount of air happening right now. I wonder if these fans... Wow, these fans are already coming out. I thought I'd have to configure that. Well, so, the LCD screen, it works, but perhaps better if you look at it this way around. Look at this. That is awesome. What an awesome looking computer. And the bracket for the GPU, that looks really good too. So I'm not sure if I can take that out and turn it, but what I'll do first is just to make sure that that can't actually be done in the iCUE software, just before I actually take that off. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to change it. I don't see why you couldn't, and rotate the screen, but even with the screen there, it looks so freaking good. We're gonna have to turn the lights down so we can get a full demonstration here. But with those fans, I didn't think those fans would look as good as they do. It's a completely different tone and hue to what I've got in my current PC. It's like the ones I've got, they really seem old in comparison to what we're seeing here right now. So there is the creation. Let's turn down the lights. Wow, I can't believe it. It's exactly what I was hoping it was going to be. And I didn't think I would get there, mainly because of these. I thought I'd have to go down to lesser size. If not, worst case scenario, get a new PC case, an even bigger one, because that's the fan configuration which I wanted. But do you hear that? Yeah, that's the fan noise sound, which is, especially with the side panel off, if that was on, I'm pretty sure that would be whisper quiet. 22 degrees idle temperature there as well. That is really good. The titanium dominators, they look amazing. They really do look good. The other one, it makes me, my older ones, the Vengeance, makes me realize how sort of old and overloaded that RGB thing is. I was really contemplating whether I should actually go RGB, just because it seemed, on my other computer, it just seemed a bit tacky. I suppose now, not the temptation just to have a matte black PC, or just to close it all up and not see it, it was pretty real. But these have all proved me wrong. There's something sleek and sharp about the light. It's not like shining brightly in your face and causing a disturbance. I'm sure it would probably do that in if you tweak the settings in iCUE, but it looks pleasant. It creates a hue and an atmosphere, which is exactly what I want for my PC. I want something which is going to make you feel relaxed. It's going to look cool and modern. Even this bracket here, that comes up more bright than everything else, but because it's shining down, it creates really nice color shadows and sheens on here. And I always like the Be Quiet case lighting. It sharpens up the case. It looks really good. So let's have a look at the front and see if this grill panel is, for the air intake, is going to be worth it. Yeah, you know what, I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing which could bother me is this bit going along there, and the cut-off point for the bottom fan. But that's air intake, so it goes down at the bottom of the computer there as well. So it's a necessity. If there was to be an improvement on that, then of course it would be to make that, or to have the whole grill open there, because it's kind of like, if you're gonna do it, just do the whole thing so you can see it. So that gives me another reason to probably a bit further down the line change these fans, and I have the reversible ones so I can have them looking inside air intake coming in this way still, but visually I think that would look pretty good, even on the top. Yeah, so it's touchscreen at the top, but if I was using the Be Quiet silent fans, then you would have control of that because you could plug directly into the PC case with the cables that are already attached and hidden away. But I haven't got that. It's got 4 USBs at the top, a Thunderbolt, 2 Thunderbolts, no, 1 Thunderbolt at the top, and headphone jack, etc. And yeah, that's touch control there as well for the fans. So that's pretty good for me. So the main reason why I went for this motherboard as well, I can't remember if I said it or not, but the Wi-Fi 7 that it holds as well. I think I have Wi-Fi 6, 5 or 6, and I need something that's better, faster, more reliable, goes through walls, I don't know, but it needs, I'm putting a lot for my internet to be the best, and it's not performing the best, let's put it that way. So with that's down to computer, I'm hoping just to see a general bump up in a lot of things here. So I don't think I even show you the ports on the back. So we've got 2 Thunderbolts here, we've got USBs at the top, we've got DP in, HDMI, USBs, BIOS, we've got Ethernets here, that's 10G and 2.5 Thunderbolt, more USBs, 10G, Wi-Fi 7, line in, mic in, and BIOS button there as well. Then underneath you have your display ports as well, 4 of them, and HDMI cable there. So there's a lot of options there, which is really good for when I'm transferring files from my camera cards and upload them through Thunderbolt connection and SD card readers. So that will hopefully, oh my god, honestly I'm so happy with it. The only thing that you're probably getting is where the fan noise is coming directly in my microphone here, but I'm telling you, this thing is quiet, and I haven't even changed the fan settings yet. So there we have it, and we have reached that point at the end of this very long and somewhat arduous computer build, but I hope it's been worthy of the 2 million subscriber ASMR special, where we've made something completely different and an ASMR video which has been exceptionally long. So I hope you've enjoyed going through this computer's journey with me and see a performance boost for my channel somehow, or at least see it from knowing from behind the scenes things that have hopefully improved. I mean, I've yet to get this connected up to my monitor and really check it all out, but we just assume at this point it's all good. So thank you for watching this part, and I'm going to pass you back over to Tux. Fred, take it away, Fred. It's been a long old job, but I hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you again for the 2 million subscribers. Completely crazy and out of this world. Take care of yourself. I'm off to bed now because I'm very tired. Cheerio. Oh.